it going, guys? aRenG Life here, and today we're going to be talking about the best cards in Servants of Kings. Now, the list for Servant of Kings has finally dropped. I wanted to go over all the cards and evaluate and see which cards were going to be the best ones, at least out of the SRs and URs. It's a mini box, so it's not like we're going to have that many. But I still wanted to go over them and at least let you guys know what some of the best cards are in this set. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the first card, the title monster. We're looking at Dark Magician of Chaos, or DMOC. Now this card, I did talk about it a little bit before. There are a lot of shenanigans you can do with it since it does get banished. You can bring it back, all this other stuff, like I listed last time. But one thing I did also want to talk about is I saw one card in this set. It was actually a normal, not even a rare, nothing like that. It's a normal, and it works pretty much exclusively with Dark Magician of Chaos. So you can make a Dark Magician deck and special summon Dark Magician of Chaos really easy. The card I'm talking about is called Dedication Through Light and Darkness. Now this is a quick play, and it does state, tribute 1 Dark Magician, special summon 1 Dark Magician of Chaos from your hand, deck, or graveyard. That is insane. That card is so good. You don't even have to have it on the field or in your hand or anything like that, which is awesome. So you could straight up have your DMOC in the deck, and you could just do a normal Dark Magician type play, and you can bring it right out. I think that is pretty crazy. And then if you have other cards that'll specialize with bringing them back, I think that'd be pretty cool, in case he does die or whatever. But I think this is a pretty cool card in addition to the Dark Magician of Chaos. I did talk about it before, so I just wanted to add on a little bit with this card and what it would bring to the game. I think this card is actually really strong, and it might be seeing some very, very viable play. The only thing that can make it better is it would bring him back from the banish pile as well. That would have been insane. But whatever. Moving on, the next UR in this set is one that I'm a little bit disappointed in. I don't know, man. The next card is called Maneater Bug. It's been hinted in the game for a while now. I think it was one of Bakura's cards. And all it does is really target one monster on the field and destroys that target. So, pretty okay card. I mean, I would have said this card was a lot stronger back when Duel Links was first starting, when we had a lot less shenanigans in the game. But now, I think there's a lot of cards that outshine this card. A lot of the bounce back cards, the bounce stuff to the hand, probably a lot more relevant because a lot of stuff you send it to the grave and it usually comes right back for whatever reason. I'm talking about Red Eyes and stuff like that. And also we have DD Warrior, who's pretty much the same thing as Maneater Bug, except it banishes. So we already have that, and that is a rare. So I'm a little bit disappointed in the UR classification for the Maneater Bug. I don't know, man. I just was a little bit disappointed in that one. I thought they could have done better. But whatever. Moving on, we're moving into the SR range. Now this next card is Vorse Raider, a 1900 4-star Beast Warrior that Kaiba used to use and beat us all down with, and we all hated him for it. So we got the Vorse Raider finally coming to the game. How long did it take? A few months? Almost a year? I don't know, man. It took forever. But we're finally getting Vorse Raider. I think this card is actually pretty cool, especially with all this, the new effect that Joey has, where he can pretty much play Sogen, or the field spell. So all the warriors and beast warriors get a boost. So this guy will definitely get boosted. He'll be at, what, like 2100? Pretty decent stat buff for a monster you can just normal summon. So Vorse Raider is a pretty cool card. It's vanilla. There you go, guys. It's just a really good card to beat down your opponents with. Also for auto duels. I think when you're just in an auto duel, you're the scrub duelist. There you go, Vorse Raider as the answer. Alright, moving on. Now we're looking at another card called Blade Knight. Now I know this is one of Kaiba's cards. I think he used it in a movie or something. But Blade Knight, it looks like a really interesting card, but it's actually pretty situational. I think if you do run it in the right deck, it can really shine. Maybe in like a handless balance type deck, it'll do its thing, because its effect does state, while you have 1 or less cards in your hand, this card gains 400 attack, making it 2000 attack. Monster you can just normal summon. A little bit stronger than Vorse Raider. It also continues to state, if you control no other monsters, negate the effects of flip monsters. Destroy a battle by this card. So that Maneater Bug to UR, get wrecked by this SR. If all the conditions are met. In any other deck, I think it's just going to be a 1600 warrior to be honest, because it's going to be pretty situational for when you're going to be able to have one or less cards in hand. Maybe if you're losing, this card might be coming in handy, but I still think it's kind of situational, especially for getting a 2000 attack monster, which we can easily get nowadays thanks to all the field power-ups and all this other stuff. But it is a warrior, also gets boosted by Joey's ability, so there's that. I don't know, I just wanted to talk about it a little bit, but I don't know. I think it's okay. But it could have been a rare. I really wouldn't have cared that much about it. Moving on, the next card we're looking at is a card that I actually really like. I'm actually glad they brought this to the game. This card is called Draining Shield. Now, this card is going to replace Enchanted Javelin. It makes Enchanted Javelin look like garbage because this card can negate the attack. I know there's certain situations where you do not want to negate the attack. Maybe you got a Enchanted Javelin and a Golden Apples. You're going to be gaining double that life point boost or whatever. So there's certain situations like that. But Draining Shield is just good in all-around play. You can use it in almost any deck, and because it does negate the attack, so it can be useful just to play in general. I think I might throw this in one of my auto farm decks if I do get it, or I probably will be getting it. Probably at multiple, because it is a mini box, but whatever. I do like this card. Actually, one of the cards I do condone in this one, I actually do recommend this one. I like Draining Shield, especially with all this attack-heavy meta. So, moving on, the next card we're talking about is a card that I already kind of talked about, called Birthright. And one of my previous videos I talked about D-Mock Birthright and some other stuff that was leaked. That wasn't necessarily in the set, it was just a leaked card in the game. But yeah, we're looking at Birthright right now. Like I said, it's a pretty good card for bringing out like a Blue Eyes, Dark Magician. Hey man, we got that Dark Magician. D-Mock plays. There you go. More little connecting shenanigans there. So we got that. It could also bring out Neos. It could do some shenanigans there, especially since this set does have very little support for Neos. Actually, a little bit disappointed in the fact that they didn't have more GX stuff. I kind of wanted more E-Heroes, to be honest. I would have loved to play more E-Heroes and more E-Hero fusions, but hey man, that's all they gave us. They didn't really give us much. We'll be talking about that a little bit later, but for now, that's pretty much it for Birthright. It's a pretty straightforward card. Just brings back a normal monster in attack position to the field. That's pretty much it. Alright, moving on. Another card that I actually really like. This card is actually really decent. This card is called Forbidden Chalice. Now, this card was actually used in the meta in the TCG for a while. Most of the Forbidden cards, to be honest. Forbidden Chalice, Lance, Dress, they were all meta at some point. I think, I'm not sure of all of them, but I know Lance was. Maybe Dress, not so much. But Chalice was really good because of the effect it has. It is a quick play, and that just the fact that it's a quick play makes it really good. His effect does state, target one face-up monster on the field until the end of this turn. That target gains 400 attack, but its effects are negated. Some people might be looking at it, they're like, oh man, just 400 attack, that's nothing. But actually, that's the opposite. The reason you're going to be playing this card is for the secondary effect that you negate their effects. There's a lot of plays with this card. This card is insane. This card has a lot of really cool plays where it can make one of your monsters, for instance, let me see, any monster with like a negative effect like Flash Assailant. We got Flash Assailant. If that guy, you summon him and you have a full hand, he's gonna lose like 400 attack for each one. If this were to be used on it, it negates his effect. He goes back up to 2,000. Then he gains 400, making him 2,400 monster that you just summoned on that turn. More of that handless balance shenanigans, I guess. It could also be used to stop your opponent's plays. Let's say, looking at the meta, if someone's using like Red Eye Zombies and they summon Il Blood or Cyber Angels or something, if they summon an Il Blood and they actually get his effect off, they make him an effect monster, you can use this card real quick and negate his effect so he won't be bringing back anything. If they're using Cyber Angels, they summon onto the field, you negate their effect real quick so they don't get a search, they don't get a Dakini pop or something. I'm not sure about the speed for Dakini. I don't know if Dakini's too fast or how that works. But I'm pretty sure as soon as they summon Dakini, activate this card, negates its effect so you don't have to destroy a monster. And I think that's pretty cool. I do think this card is actually really, really good, and it's probably going to be used in meta play. Forbidden Chalice is actually a pretty good card. It's one of those cards that has multiple uses, and those cards are always really good. But enough talk about Forbidden Chalice. Moving on to the next card. The next card I'm talking about is a card called Panzer Dragon. Now this card is a fusion. It's a fusion, and it's actually pretty easy to pull off, to be honest. The only thing you really need is a machine monster and a dragon, so that can be pretty easy to use. Once again, you got more of that Red Eyes targets. I mean, Red Eyes has so many fusions in this game, man. You can use Red Eyes as one of the targets, or at least for the dragon. I don't think you can use the substitution materials for this because it does state one machine type and one dragon type. I think they only replace names. So I still have to mess around with it, but I don't think they would replace that. So there's that. I know in the TCG and stuff they would use it for like with Super Poly, and you take your opponent's machine type monster, fuse it with your dragon or whatever, or both of their cards, and start making these guys. But enough about his summoning conditions. This card is actually pretty cool because of his effect. So it's not a very strong attacker. It's only got 1,000 attack, but the thing is, it's got 2,600 defense. So as soon as you summon it, you're gonna summon it in defense position. It's gonna make a little wall, and you're gonna have some kind of defensive wall. Also, the effect it does have is when this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can target one card on the field and destroy that target. So as soon as you make this card, your opponent's gonna have to prepare because they're gonna lose whatever takes this guy out. I think I already know one card that would straight up get over this card, and that's DD Warrior, because you could attack into it, you can take the hit or whatever, and it'll banish both of them, so it won't even get a destruction off. So there's some DD Warrior shenanigans. There's DD Warrior being brought up twice in this video. That's pretty much it for Panzer Dragon. I mean, it's still a really good card in the sense that you can set up a wall, and then if they kill it, you're gonna be taking out one of their stuff. So it's pretty cool. Moving on, another really good card that I'm seeing is called Wall of Disruption. The way it works, it's basically stating when your opponent's monster declares an attack, all attack position monsters your opponent controls lose 800 attack for each monster they control. So I think this card is actually really good. I'm pretty sure it counters the meta pretty nicely, since you're usually going to be seeing a lot of Red Eye Zombies, Cyber Angels, and they're most likely going to have more than one card on the field when they attack. Especially for Red Eye Zombie, they're going to have Red Eye Zombie on the field, maybe Gozuki or some other stuff on the field. They're going to have some board presence on you. You're going to attack, they're going to lose 800 for each one on the field. Even if they only have one monster, they're still going to lose 800. They're probably going to lose the battle they're trying to pick with you. But if they have more than one monster on the field, they're going to lose 800 for each. So they can lose up to 2,400 attack, making their Red Eyes a good 0 attack attacking into you. That could win you games. That can legitimately win you games, depending on what you have on the field. You can actually change the flow of battle with this card. Another card that I think might become meta. Just the way it looks, I think this card might also become meta. So there's that. Moving on. Next card I'm looking at is a card called Painful Decision. Now this card does have little ojamas on the art, and that's because it does work with level 4 lower normal monsters like ojamas. Ojamas are actually a really good target for them. And actually, I have been playing around with ojamas lately. I think this card would actually work really well in the ojama deck. So what this card does state is you send one level 4 or lower normal monster from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, add one monster with the same name as that card from your deck to your hand, and you can only activate one Painful Decision per turn. So this card is actually pretty cool because as soon as you have it, you're going to be thinning out your deck a little bit. You're going to be putting one card in the grave, one card in your hand. And I think that's pretty good, especially for plays, for decks that rely on you having a grave. I already see plays with this and Knight of the Red Lotus, because Knight of the Red Lotus can bring stuff back. One thing I do want to kind of let you guys know about, I don't think this will work on Gemini cards, because Geminis do state in their text that when the card is face up on the field or in the graveyard, it counts as a normal monster. But if it's in the deck, it counts as an effect monster. So I don't think Painful Decision is going to work on Geminis. If it does work for whatever reason, if it does work on Geminis, it'll make this card even better. But I just don't think it's going to work. I would have to test it out. But there's that. So I already see this card being used in quite a few decks. I think just that normal monster support, man, it's too good. Especially with Ojamas. Ojamas are really good. I think that's going to be the best way to use it. Moving on, that was pretty much it for all the SRs. Now I want to give a shout out to some of the rares, some decent rares in this set, because I usually don't talk about rares in these best of videos, but I do want to talk about some of these just to kind of like bring attention to them. We did get our first E-Hero card, and it's an Elemental Hero Flare Neo. So this is going to be the first, I guess, Neo Spacian fusion. And these are pretty cool because you don't need polymerization for these. They're just contact fuse. And this card is okay, I guess. I mean, I'm pretty sure it can win you a game. But the setup for it might be a little bit more difficult. I don't know. I have not really played Neos as much lately. I know they gave us like Flare Scarab or whatever, which is not very strong in general. But if you gotta get that and a Neos on the field, you can contact fuse them for this guy. It'd be nice if they can contact fuse during the battle step. I don't think they can. That way you can attack, and then bring out this guy. But this guy is just pretty cool. Its effect does state you do need an Elemental Hero Neos plus Neo Spacian Flame Scarab, and it must be special summoned from your extra deck by sending the above cards you control in your deck. So you put them right back into your deck, so there's no grave shenanigans you can do, which kind of sucks because I know Neos has some viability in the grave. You can bring it back with certain other cards like Oversoul and Birthright as well. You put them back into the deck, and this card gains 400 attack for each back row on the field, basically. All your back row, your opponent's back row. If you play a back row heavy deck and you have 3 set, this card's going to get a good 1600 attack boost. But it could gain twice that. It can gain 3200, making this thing really strong, especially if you already have an attack planned. But the thing is, it's not all it does state. It also states during the end phase, shuffle this card into the extra deck. So it can gain all that attack, but it's only going to be on the field for 1 turn. Kind of like Gandora before all the Mokuba shenanigans. It only stays on the field for 1 turn. And I don't know, man. I think that's the only downside. Also, we have a lot more stuff that negates attacks and stuff like that added into the game. So if they're gonna stop its attack, they're gonna stop its attack, and then you lose your monster. You're gonna lose your whole board. And I just want to kind of give a shout out to the first of the E-Heroes fusions, I guess, the Neos fusions. And moving on, more of the interesting rares we're looking at. We got the Mystic Swordsman line. So we got Mystic Swordsman level 6, because that's probably the main one out of those. Now Mystic Swordsman level 6 is actually pretty cool. It's a little bit harder to bring out. You're gonna have to bring him out in defense position, face down. You're gonna have to set it because for whatever reason it cannot be normal summon, and there's not really much fighting it. You can't negate its effect in your hand. Mystic Swordsman level 6. You can pretty much tribute set it, but it's got 1700 defense. It could be run over, so there's some stuff. If you do run it with Floodgate, you can probably try protecting it. That's probably what I would do, because Floodgate does put your opponent's monsters face down. Its effect does state it cannot be normal summoned, but it can be normal set. At the start of the damage step, if this card attacked a face down defense position monster, destroy that monster, and if you do, you can place it on the top of your opponent's deck instead of sending it to the grave. I think that's pretty cool. Just the fact that you can pretty much destroy your opponent's shenanigans. You can destroy their card, look at it before it hits the grave. So for whatever reason, it's a card you don't want to hit the grave, put it right back on top of their deck. Also, the thing is, if you put it on top of their deck, it stops their next draw. So if you keep doing it, your opponent's not going to be able to advance their game state, because they're going to have to keep drawing that same card while you are amassing more cards. That's the only way I think this card is actually really good. So they're going to have to stop playing in defense, and they're going to actually have to fight you head on. But it's only a 2300 attack monster. So, I don't know, man. I think we got a lot of warriors in this set. So a lot of that Joey support with this field ability. But, I don't know, man. I think this card is pretty cool. It does have some potential for like a really interesting deck. But I think it's got some stun potential to actually stop your opponent. Moving on, the next card I'm looking at is called Darkblade, the Captain of the Evil World. Now, this card, I just wanted to talk about it because it's really cool. It's really conditional, but if your opponent's running a light deck, unfortunately it doesn't really work against Cyber Angels because they all have like over level 4s. You can't do some shenanigans on them, but it does state once per turn you can banish 1 dark monster from your graveyard, target 1 level 4 or lower light monster your opponent controls, equip it to this card. So you can take your opponent's monster from their field, equip it to this card, and attack. So that's pretty cool. I just think that can win games. That's actually a pretty cool card. If this card on the field would be destroyed, the monster equipped to it with this effect is destroyed instead. Now, that gives this guy some survivability, making it pretty decent. I don't think it's going to be that great, but it is an 1800 4-star, so just kind of wanted to address that. I just think some of these cards are pretty cool. Not necessarily meta-defining or anything, like I said, but it's just a pretty decent card. There's a lot of really good cards. There's other cards I want to talk about, like the Machinas and other stuff like that, but I'm going to go ahead and just kind of cut it off for now. I'll let you guys, I guess, enjoy actually pulling those cards and seeing what they do themselves. There are a lot of cards in here that I actually want to mess around with. They look really cool. But I think that's pretty much it for today. And if you guys enjoyed, go ahead and leave a like, share, and subscribe for more Duel Links shenanigans. But anyway, thank you guys for watching today. Have a great day, and see you guys!